poor people, psychotic people, alcoholic relatives,
Yes.
devastated community, ill, like brutalized, horrible childhood, no friends,
Yes.
and still looking around to see if they could find something good to do.
And you would never wish those circumstances upon anyone, because most people don't survive them.
Yeah.
But a few people get through those with incredible character.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like Yeonmi Park.
Yeah, she's
Perfect
a good
example.
example. Yeah.
An amazing
That's for
example.
sure.
Like her childhood, her life experience in North Korea is one of the most horrific stories I've ever heard in my life. But because of that the horrific nature of the experiences that she had, she came out of this with this extraordinary character.
Yeah.
And
I had a friend, Charles Joseph, a native carver from the West Coast, he was in a residential school in Canada, and it was one of the ones that were genuinely bad. And it was bad. It was like Auschwitz level bad. It was really bad. And he was brutalized, man. You can't listen to him talk for 10 minutes without like the tears rolling down your eyes.
Oh.
And, he was devastated when he emerged, but he put himself together. He was on the street for a while. He quit drinking, quit mucking about, started carving, like turned himself into quite the stellar creature, Amazing moral.
Again, you would never wish that on anyone.
That's
but
for sure.
But it's incredible how through that adversity you create this extraordinary person.
Yeah.
And that extraordinary person could be a great light to so many other people that are going through terrible times and define themselves by the terrible circumstances that they find themselves in, which is a real problem with people.
Yeah, well, that's part of that victim narrative.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's so comical about the Exodus narrative is that that's really what happens to the Israelites when they're in the desert. Is they turn into whiny, backbiting victims. That's what happens. And it's like, it's the same thing 3,000 years ago. It's like, we don't know where we are, we're lost, we're resentful about it, we wish the tyranny would return, and aren't we hard done by and gossipy. It's like, same old story, man.
It really is the same old story.
Yeah.
And this constant quest for meaning and understanding and fulfillment and a life worth living.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that's really been catalyzed for me, over the course of my life, but particularly in the last 5 or 6 years, is that I don't think there is anything more real than that meaningful story. And I mean real in every way. I mean real as a manifestation of the central structure of the material world, real metaphysically, real psychedelically, real practically, like real. And I think that instinct that orients you towards meaning, that's the deepest connection you have to what is most real. Because people say, well, life isn't meaningful in its essence. That just means you're a reductionist, materialist atheist in your initial presuppositions. It's easy to flip that and say, no, the instinct that orients you towards engagement and meaning, that is the most real thing there is.
Yes.
So, and I believe that. It's also what helps you stay on the straight and narrow when you're in pain. So how can anything be more real than that? What orients you when you're suffering?
Right.
There's a definition of real. Real is that which orients you properly when you're suffering. So, that's not the same claim as, the object's real.
Right.
It's a different idea, but
it's still real.
It's more real.
It's very real.
Yeah.
And we are, the thing that we have in common is we're all just human. And if we're all human, there's always going to be this weirdness to existence, and trying to figure out why and what it is, and also recognizing that some of the people that have defined why are so inherently flawed, and they're very selfish in their definitions, and you have to kind of sort that out and parse through it. And one of the things that's been amazing about having a podcast is to present people with these different minds that have found their own way through it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun, eh?
Yeah.
That's what I loved about being a clinician, too, is to see how different and crazy and strange and interesting people really are if you listen to them. It's like, I had lots of clients in my practice who were they weren't people who would ever be put on a pedestal. They were people who were in the dirt suffering away. But man, if you listen to them, they were so interesting that you just could hardly stand it. So that was a good thing to learn. And that you see, you find gold in very unexpected places. Like I learned a lot from some of my most damaged clients.
I would imagine. Just what's possible.
Yeah, well, and how much people could still strive towards what was good, even if they had every reason to be. You know, I had clients whose lives were so terrible, you'd think no matter what they did, you'd think, yeah, well, it's no wonder you did that, because look what you went through.
Right.
But they didn't turn out to be
our prisons are
serial
filled with
sexual
people.
slayers.
Our prisons are filled with people like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.